I can't believe it. It's finally here. Dark Souls 2 too! Seriously, I can't believe it. They finally showed Elden Ring, and I think everyone was absolutely blown away by this trailer, me included. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of videos, probably better than this one, will dissect the trailer and show everything in all its details and all of that. And I don't want to do that. Instead, I want to do something which you shouldn't really do, but I'm a cheeky boy, so I do what I want. I just want to look at the trailer and just like kind of imagine like what could be in this game. As I said, we shouldn't really do this because it puts unrealistic expectations and ideas in the game which probably aren't real, but I think it's fun just to kind of imagine and dream about this game. I'm sure you guys have some really cool ideas too from what you've seen, and I'd love to hear them. Anyway, I'm not going to drag this video out, I just want to make it snappy, so let's just get into it. The trailer seems to have a lot of cutscenes, and I mean like a lot more than usual Souls games, so I hope the game takes advantage of this and tells the story a lot more through cutscenes. We do know George R.R. Martin is helping working on the story for this game, and in my ideal world, it would be like a 50-50 split between Big George and Miyazaki. I'd like Big fucking George, just to do that the main story, it can just kind of rag it out, and I'd love Miyazaki to still kind of take those little micro stories, those little tiny set pieces, you know, and still kind of flesh those out. That would be my kind of ideal balance there. Elaborating more on the general aesthetic of the game, this is something which I have absolutely wanted from Souls for such a long time. Very high fantasy. You look at Dark Souls, it's very like kind of gritty, evil, medieval fantasy. This is like high fantasy, and I'm all for it. I absolutely love the setting. I just hope we just see so much more of this. I absolutely love it, I really do. A big thing for a lot of people is the horse, which I think is a fantastic idea. The game is going to be a big open world, and you're going to need a horse to get around everywhere in a good amount of time. You can see from the horse jump pads that it's meant to be for exploration, but it seems to have combat functionality. Like from this shot here, the guy needs to do a big dodge, so he jumps on the horse and does a double jump. So it seems in a real dire situation, if you really need to move, it might be better to get on the horse. And I like that, because it gives the player another defensive option instead of just block or dodge. It's like, oh shit, it's a big attack, I might have to do a big dodge. It might take a bit of time to get onto the horse and get going, but if I can do it, I can get a big dodge and really avoid something very dangerous. Great idea. And touching on combat, we saw very little of it, but yeah, the Dark Souls roll. I honestly thought this game would be more kind of like Sekiro, but still I'm very happy with this. From this wolf fight here though, you can see two different dodges. A little like dash, duck dodge, and a jump dodge, kind of like Sekiro there, so hey, they probably did take something there. Now, I'm going to hit you guys with a very controversial opinion here. So, we saw the co-op here, we didn't see any PvP, and honestly, it's my hope that this game does not have PvP. All of this combat here in the nice single player, it looks so fluid and so exciting. It would all have to be balanced around a rudimentary single PvP environment. And I don't want the game to be compromised for that element. I'm sorry, I don't. And also, if the game is open world, you can imagine this. You're gonna invade someone, or get ready for a cool PvP fight. You see them, the guy jumps on his horse and he runs away, and then you chase him for like 10 minutes. Like, seriously. So if PvP was added, there'd have to be a bunch of compromises, and I just don't want that, plain and simple, and that's why I don't think there should be PvP. I do think, however, there should be something in the game which gives you a kind of a similar kind of tension, which leads me to my next point, which is at this little caravan scene here. Now, what this seems to be is that kind of like an open world interactivity kind of event, so you can stumble across this caravan, can maybe attack them, get some cool weapons and armor from it. Now, of course, if this was an open world kind of event, it's not going to be the only one. If that was the only one, it would be quite empty. So what I thought would be really, really cool, like say after a few days in game, you start getting hunted by these NPCs, I don't know, maybe like these wolf knights here, so that there's this similar kind of PvP feel without actually having to compromise to an online PvP scenario. Be kind of like, you know, like Breath of the Wild, where after a few days, enemies get more dangerous. Maybe after a few days it says, hey, look, you're being hunted, and it could happen anytime. I thought that'd be really cool instead. Right, so at least for me, the best thing from this trailer were these two shots right here. Again, this dragon with the big lightning attack, a lot of people have been using this one, but also this shot here. Now, what this signals for me is something that I absolutely just wanted so much more of, which was kind of in Sekiro a lot. It's just like these big moments. Like, remember in Sekiro where that you watch Genichiro do the first lightning like counter thing? You watch him go into the sky and do this big attack, and it looks so cool. And the first time you see it, you just don't know what to do. You just watch it unfold, and it's such a cool moment. And from this trailer, it just seems like almost every boss has like this big cinematic cool moment, and it just makes everything feel so cool. There's another good example here with the wolf knight jumps in the air, just watch him like dance through the air. My god, this is my biggest hope, and they delivered on it. All bosses just have these big cinematic things where you just almost drop your controller. You don't even react, you just watch it unfold, and you're like, fuck me, This is absolutely amazing. One last thing I'd really hope for, like kind of like world bosses. So you can imagine going through the first area and all of a sudden you see this big tortoise with like a bell, try to attack it, get squashed, and like, oh for fuck's sake, I'll go, but I'll come back later. And that's what I want. More reasons to come back to like, earlier parts in the open world. Again here, this big guy. I mean, wouldn't it be so cool if you just like going along to try and do a quest and all of a sudden, bam, he just appears, starts attacking you, kill him, and you might get a good weapon for it. Fantastic way to get the player to keep coming back, keep exploring, keep finding these guys. I love it. But yeah, the main thing here is just lots and lots of interesting set pieces to keep the open world springing alive with activity. And yeah, that's all I really wanted to say, really. I said it would be snappy, and it is snappy. I'm not really looking to really deep dive into here. As I said, other YouTubers are going to do that much better than me. All I wanted to do was just to share my hype and excitement for this game. I'd honestly love to hear the imagination from you guys. See like, oh, I saw this, it could mean this. I'm all for that. I just want to speculate and just dream of what could be. I think it's so much fun. And my God, I can't believe we've got a release date for it. I'm just so excited, boys and girls, I really am. Right, that's all I wanted to say, and to wrap it up, what I want from this game, more story through cutscenes, lots and lots of high fantasy armor and setting, fluid combat with more options than just block or dodge on the defensive side. As for attack options, well, different weapons kind of take care of that. I hope for no PvP, and I know that's going to upset some people, but I don't want the combat and the core gameplay loop to be compromised by that. Cinematic and memorable bosses, and fuck me, it looks like it's going that way. And lastly, lots of open world events and open world bosses to kind of flesh out the open world. And those are my hopes for Elden Ring. And before we end, Lenny, what do you think of this?
Does it have a broken sword?
I don't think we know.
Fuck's sake, then I don't give a shit.